Boom. All right, guys, it's another day. We're finally ready to get this engine mounted. I want to show you these brand new engine mounts that we're going to go with instead of those BMRs. They're just too hard. So instead, we've got a Lima Vibe. I think this is from Creative Steel Incorporated. These are supposed to be a really good solution, and boy do they cost it too. These are probably the most expensive engine mounts I've ever bought for a car. So we're going to see how these do, but they're supposed to be a lot softer while still being a lot stronger for all the different vibrations we're expected with this high horsepower motor. So these are going to be the base for our engine going on today. So we're going to go ahead and redo what we did with those BMR mounts on both sides, get the engine mounts and everything. Probably these will go on the engine this time, and we'll just go and use the stud as the original one would have been. And so those brackets here will go onto the engine once we get this off of its current standing cradle, and get this engine all situated. When it's up in the air, we may be doing a few more things, like seeing if we want to get the differential on at that point. It might be a little bit easier than trying to sneak it in from over here. The other thing that we did off screen yesterday was throw in the VVT solenoid, the oil flow solenoid at the front. The rest of these here are MDS deletes. You guys know about Hemi 5764s. Has multi-displacement system that allows it to kick into 4-cylinder mode for economy. Obviously that's not needed for this application, so MMX removes those and puts in plugs for it. And the harness we are going to be redoing so that it's just the primary loom to the VVT solenoid to the back of the case here. Beyond that, that's the only thing we've done offline. Today we're going to go ahead and get this thing mounted. Like I said, the differential, then we're going to go ahead and probably go to the transmission package, get that mounted, because the key that I want to get done today is do the measurements for our adapters for our new drive shaft for the front, because the stock drive shaft is just not going to cut it. We know that those are going to fail under high horsepower. So get this torque converter. It's brand new from Paramount as well. Flex plate, everything in between, mounted up to it, get it all attached to the back of the crank once it's on here. And yeah, see how everything's kind of set up. The only other thing we won't be able to do is the intermediate shaft, the jack shaft, since we're going to be making that as a special new part. So we'll go into detail on that here in a little while, what that looks like. But we're going to be getting everything else situated today for that differential. And whatever else we can get done, like I said, we're going to have a lot of guys coming over today, get some work done. So we've got plenty of other parts that we're going to be able to throw on the engine, as well as, if we can get to it, the supercharger, as well as the front of the rest of the front of the accessories of this engine. And we've got things like plugs, coil packs, all the hoses and so forth. So we'll probably dive into the Whipple blower kit. I still haven't made the decision whether or not we're going to go to a 3.8 immediately, or if we're just going to wait a little bit. The issue with the 3.8 the issue with the 3.0 is that we're kind of capped on horsepower. I think the max is like 1200 horsepower that you can really generate with that, versus the 3.8, which is kind of sky's the limit up to probably 1500 horsepower with that efficiency and displacement. And so the problem, though, with the current 3.8 at the time of this video is that there is none for the normal Hemi block, just for the Hellcat block, and we can take that and it'll fit on these heads. The issue is the front pulley on the supercharger. We're going to have to run it in reverse if we want to do that. So haven't quite determined if I'm going to run that 3.8 yet and sell the 3.0. Or just run the 3.0 for a while and then sell it later once they maybe get the 3.8 for the normal Hemi blocks. But Whipple kind of takes forever to do that kind of stuff. So we're going to go and weigh those options today with everybody. and get it started. Oh yeah, and oil cooler too. We're gonna have to put that on. So tons of little stuff, but ideally by the end of the day, everything is mounted on this subframe, and we're just starting to load parts on top of this brand new engine, and ultimately getting it ready to throw into the car. I think the longest pole in the tent is going to be the exhaust. We having, I think I mentioned earlier, that we have custom American Racing headers being made and then being ceramic coated. And so we're still a few weeks away from being able to get those out. So at least we got some work to fill our time on this engine and the rest of the powertrain, specifically that front drive shaft, as well as the jack shaft in the center. So we'll probably throw it on time lapse and then throw a couple of specific details in here when we're putting on different parts. Yeah, I'm really excited about this, guys. It should be a fun day. Let's do it. So we got the old 5.7 out from the car originally, and we were just taking out some of the sensors and some of the old bolts that we were holding on to this thing just for safety. Let's see, so we got one of the temperature sensor out for coolant, same on the other side right here. And then we've got an oil pressure or temperature sensor here and here, so we took those guys off. The only other thing I need to double check is on these knock sensors here. So we'll go and leave those in just in case right now, but that looks like the majority of the parts that we need for this guy. We may need this idler, but beyond that, I don't really see anything else that we don't already have on the new motor. Like I said, we already took the VVT solenoid out of this one. And now we're just the rest of the sensors. So let's go ahead and get that bolted on, all those sensors bolted on to the new engine. We'll probably use, for some of them, just some Loctite, and then for others, we will have probably some Teflon tape to go back in, make sure there's no leaks. So let's go ahead and go do that now. We definitely do need the crank timing sensor as well as the knock sensors out. So we're gonna go ahead and grab the two knock sensors from either side, and then this crank timing sensor as well here, just 10 millimeters. Actually, it's a 12 as well.
I had to fix it because it was vertical. And I know
I bet all your videos are vertical.
Get your feet out of the shot. Look at your shoes. Get all over. Hey, babe.